Hey guys, I'm Jason, this is Scott, and we're from Odyssey Bistro. We're going to see at Brooke's home. Hi, Brooke, is it?
Yes.
I'm Jason, and
Hi,
this is
Jason.
Scott.
Scott, nice to meet you.
We're here to show you how to minimise your waste, save money, and make your food go a little bit further.
Okay, great. Come through.
Perfect.
We're here obviously just to be part of the Fraser Coast Love Food Hate Waste. Being a little bit of the professionals in the culinary background, we just want to show you a little few tips, tricks, how you can save your food, make it go further, so you can save that bottom line with the dollar, just to spend it a little bit more on having memories with the family.
In our background, we do work in the hospitality profession, so we are both qualified chefs, so lots of experience there. So I'm sure we can give you lots of tips and tricks on how to maximise what's in your pantry.
Fantastic.
All right, Brooke, so the first thing we need to do is get into that pantry and have a look.
Okay, sure. Just through here.
Looking at this, man, to be honest, you're pretty average pantry. I know mine at home, mum's, all that sort of thing. Just a little bit of stuff all on top of each other, nothing really clear.
Yeah, a lot of good space in here though.
There is, I guess space is a big thing. People undervalue it and underutilise it. So first thing, I guess, starting...
Just the organisation.
Giving a few tips is we need to organise. So creating what we call in the industry is a stock take or an inventory list. You want to keep baking goods kind of together, your carbohydrates, so your rices, your pastas, your beans, all that sort of stuff together, your spices together, and creating sections within your pantry instead of just having it everywhere. Obviously creating things that if they are super heavy, not putting them up top, otherwise we're going to create health and safety issues. And by using stuff that is higher, it's stuff that we're not really going to use a lot of, so it might be that we do see. There's a lot of space on this wall that we can create. Big whiteboard. Order list, writing your
meal prep ideas.
Meal preps. When you run out of something, whether it be yourself, the kids, whoever, just scribble it on the board, because then when we come to do our shopping 5-6 days time, it's already there instead of trying to go back and remember everything. So we're being a little bit productive and saving time later by just investing time a little bit earlier. With the front of the pantry, I think, treat it like a supermarket. Wants everything.
Want to be able to see as much as possible.
Up front, in your face, very clear. You can see what they're trying to sell you. So you want to create that same concept within your own pantry. The easier it is for you to see and identify what you do have, the less you're going to spend in that weekly budget.
The overall goal is to put together a shopping list and to utilise as much as possible in here so we can save money, hey? So the more organised it is, the more success rate we have.
Absolutely.
Okay, so next up we're going to have a little look through the fridge. Give you a few tips in here. So we've got a fairly nice open fridge space here, which is really good because we can really see into it, get a good scope of what's actually in here. At first glance, I don't know about you, Jason, I can see there's a lot of clustered sauces here. Kind of spreading those out. There's a lot of good container space being used here, leftovers and things like that.
This larger section that we do have in here, we can create for those bulkier items, our leftover meals that we're going to use up over the next couple of days. And then keeping our bottoms with our veg crispers and our fruits. So keeping them separate as well, just to create a little bit of that supermarket vibe that we can see what we have very clearly and to be able to express. I guess moving on to the freezer now. A few things like your bread up here as well. We do have 2 loads of bread. If we're not going to use it, this is where our freezer comes in. It's not just for chilling down our beverages quicker, or our icy poles as well.
I think one of the biggest things is sometimes people get busy in their lives as well, and they'll have meals in here ready to go, meats and different things, and then they'll want to eat out. Do something easy, take away, treat themselves, which is perfectly fine. So, but it's just being aware of that it is in there. It's still okay to use. If it's a meat, we can just put it in the freezer. Obviously, when we do defrost it, we want to make sure we use it straight away if it has been out.
Going back to that defrosting though, we want to pull it out, i.e. the night before. We don't want to slap it here on the kitchen bench. We have
defrosting.
We have massive hot days with humidity that can really increase that bacteria growth, and we've saved money, but we've now lost money because no one can go to work or school because we've now made everyone very sick.
So defrosting in the fridge?
Correct, 100%. Never in submerged water, never on the bench. Obviously there are times, but it's strongly recommended.
Use a microwave and use it straight away.
Correct, yes.
We can already see that there's different meats and things in here that can still be made into meals, and like that's really good to be conscious of what you do have stored in the freezer. It can get lost because you don't use the space as much as you do your fridge and pantry.
Implementing FIFO. So first in, first out procedure is what we do in the industry. So stock rotation, using what's come in first, making sure that's first out of the fridge, and whatever we've bought newer is going towards the back, and just rotating through. Same with your freezer. You obviously don't want to freeze something for 18 to 24 months, then use it. You want to use it within that 3 to 6 months, depending on the product.
So basically, easy thing we can do to plan a meal, like I've just pulled out some chicken thigh. That's good for 2 people.
We'll stop there for a second though, but we want to prolong this life as well. So storage, right? We're talking about our airtight containers. The better it's stored, the less chance it has to freeze and burn, cross-contamination with other products. Once again, we're just all about that end product and not harming ourselves while we're trying to save money. Coming back, everything's the basic principles with everything we want to do. Creating sections, compartments, so that we can clearly identify where we need to go. Where's the meat stored? Where's the veggie stored? Where are our ice creams and desserts stored? And then sometimes you just don't want to forget where you've stored your beer to chill it down quicker too. So it's all about creating that
everything's important.
Yeah, everything's important. You know, we want to, the clearer it is, the easier it is for us to identify the product, the more we save our money. So
that's actually really good storage in there. It's been in there a little while, but it's great that it's been dated. It's labeled as well. We know what it is, and we know if it's there to use.
Perfect. So Brooke, obviously after having a little bit of a look through your fridge and freezer, just something for a little bit of a tip is on a weekly basis, we just want to maintain, do that stock rotation in our fridge, just so we get a little bit of a clearer picture before we do that shop or that weekly, right? But also to help us identify a use it first section. So, we did have 2 cartons of eggs that we had in here. We have ourselves a little bit of this use it up tape. So it's clear communication to the rest of the household and family that if we just pull some of this off, it says pick me.
Especially if you're not the one doing the shopping, to know which batch to use first, because some of these dates can be quite hard to see. Well,
condensation, all that stuff, ink, it always rubs off. Having a clear picture, we can just stack them on top as it. Someone knows that we're going to use this first, so if hubby or the kids come in to make some scrambled eggs, we're picking up the first eggs first to make sure that we're not wasting any money.
Yeah. Okay, so Brooke, essentially me and Jason, just from our time being here, had a little bit of a look individually ourselves through your pantries, your fridge, your freezer, put together a couple of things each. So essentially just some ideas of, food items that we can utilize. I've found some chicken thigh, we've got enoki mushrooms, carrots, got some rice noodles, garlic, ginger, a little bit of miso, a little bit of pho, crispy onions, a little bit of furikake. So essentially I'm just putting together like an Asian style broth here. So making a base broth with the miso, ginger, garlic, the pho, and then we're gonna put the veggies, a little bit of chicken through there, cook it out, essentially like a soup. There aren't any, I guess, real rules to food. It's just having that basic knowledge and understanding of what we're doing and what we're putting together. Finishing it off with some onions and the furikake. The only other thing that would be amazing with this is some herbs. Like we can go get some coriander, mint, Thai basil, anything that's gonna help bring out that sort of herbaceous flavor here. Nice simple one, and we don't need to spend too much money.
Well, I guess Scott's gone down the route of that Asian kind of background and style. Myself, I've kind of gone something a little bit more for home. Growing up with Mum used to always make a little bit of a tuna bake, so something we always have lots of. We've got our plain flour, our milk and our butter. So it's always creating that basis for a roux or a white sauce. So got our big canned tuna. Doesn't have to be blended, oil, natural spring water, can have a little bit of the spice of flavorings in it. One thing I want to touch base is about our salt, fat and acid. So they're kind of a few key elements that we do look at in cooking. Just because the recipe says we need salt doesn't mean we can't use salt in different forms. So we have a little bit of bonito flakes, so it's got that fish element, so creating the stock with the bonito flakes gives us that salt umami flavor, but it's also the same with giving a little bit of body with our liquid seasoning. So through the Asian world and culinary scenes, they've got some really amazing alternative products for your salts, your fat and your acids. As we are making our roux, Got a little bit of black pepper, some smoked paprika, a little bit of bay leaves, cinnamon and nutmeg. So all these things, we're always going to the shop and we buy one of it, don't we? Use it once, it's in the fridge or the cupboard for the next 8, 10, 12 months. Just creating a couple of teaspoons in our roux, give it that flavour, that body. Adding our tuna. The only thing we need to go to the shop for is a little bit of pasta. Pasta just comes down to personal preference. Put it in with a little bit of cheese on top and then we're good to bake. And I guess,
so a lot of those spices interchangeable, just because you don't have ground paprika, you might have smoked paprika or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Just because it's one thing that the recipe says that you have, you don't have to follow the rules. If everyone followed the rules, there'd be no difference in restaurants or within food in itself. So it's gathering that basis, but then it's also a personal preference and utilising what you do have. Be adventurous. Some things are going to work, some things not going to work. Your family might not eat the meal, but that's okay. You tried, you gave it a go. You can learn from your mistakes or, grow from that culinary experience of being adventurous and not just staying inside the box. One thing I did notice that we did forget to talk about in your home is the old-fashioned fruit bowl. So fruit bowl always has something in it. It gets bought, we know within 3 days our fruit's gone old because the kids or hubby hasn't eaten it. So we've got a few bananas. Bananas can be used in multiple ways. So from when they're ripe to eat, when they're overripe, they get a little bit sweeter. So we can use up some of these eggs, so the pick me first eggs, a little bit of bananas, create that batter. We have our flour, we have our seasonings, we can create a little banana bread. We just have to go grab some walnuts from the shop. Also have a couple of oranges and apples in here. We can stew down our apples, get a bit of puff pastry, create a little apple pie. So there's a lot of stuff that we can do with fruits, more than just eating them fresh when they're ripe. It's giving them further purpose to life with our fruit as well. We just want to say thank you for letting us into your home, letting us invade your privacy space, your pantry, your fridge, freezer. Not a lot of people would let us do that, so hopefully you learn a thing or two.
I did. Thanks guys for coming. I really appreciate it and I learnt so much today. Thank you.
No worries. So remember, love food, hate waste. Jump onto the council website and join the 3-week challenge.